Jumping in. Okay, welcome you guys. We're so excited. So this is our very first region call, soon to be nation call. This is not to replace, by the way, our big region call that is once a month. And I know some of you, I texted this, so sorry for the overkill with this, but y'all know if you've been in Arbonne for a long time that Donna Johnson always says, hot coals together stay hot. What did you say, Kristen? Caitlin, you said we're hot coals, right? But that's the truth. So the more that we can connect, and we don't want to overcall you by any means. We want this to be a call of value to give you some training. Hey, Taylor. But I don't know about y'all, but some days I can feel really like out there, like the lone wolf, running my Arbonne business by myself. And so what we want this to be is a way for us as a team to really stay hot, on fire and motivated, and to really mind our mindset with Arbonne. So I thought I would tell you guys just a really quick story, like 2 minutes for me, of what happened when I started Arbonne. So I really thought when I started this business that this was going to be something super small. I thought, hey, this will be awesome if I can make a little bit of extra money to like just pay for, I don't know, shoes or clothing or whatever. And what happened is I started reading, and that's why we want to give you some training. We always try to plug you guys in. If I hadn't plugged in and started reading and like really listening to more SoundClouds and reading Ion Arbonne's, for me, it was like this little door that started getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger of hope. And it was like all of a sudden I got this giant big picture of what Arbonne is. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not kidding. The day I realized I remember the day I realized, like, I was sitting in a woman's living room and we were having a training, and I had been reading and reading, and we were having a discussion, and I was like, wait a minute, what? And I realized I could change my life and my family's life and other people's lives. And I was hooked. I was like, this is by far the biggest opportunity that I have ever been like presented in my entire life. And what do I have to do to get what these people have? And I was like, oh my gosh. And I knew like I was not going to go back to school to be a doctor or a lawyer, or not that that's the only way. But for me personally, I didn't have a lot of money to invest to get a return on an investment. So for me personally, I knew this right here, this thing called Arbonne was a vehicle. And then what I heard was all it takes is consistent, persistent activity multiplied over time, and just don't quit. And I knew that I come from a long line of people who are very persistent. Caitlin's going to laugh, who don't quit. And I was like, that's it. I'm done. This is the way for me. And I know that this is my vehicle to do whatever I want to do in my life. And so for me, I never looked at this as an overnight thing. And that's the point I want to make. I always knew that it was going to take some time, and that I was going to need to treat it like a business, and that I was going to work it consistently. Did I always? No. So there's hope if you haven't been. It took me a few years, to be honest. So just don't do as, I did. But finally, I got into this consistent rhythm where, and honestly, it became fun. And that's how my business is now. My business does not feel like work. They say that, if you love what you do, you'll never work another day in your life. I do not feel like I work. I feel like I feel like I go to coffees and I have phone calls and I chat with people and I get to know people. And I feel like, honestly, like I can't believe sometimes that my paycheck, that I get paid, when I get that paycheck, I'm like, what? I get paid to do what I did this month? That's crazy. So if anything I said sounds, like if you're like, that would be nice to like one day feel like I absolutely wake up thinking, oh, I wonder what my day is going to be like today. I wonder who I'm going to meet, that kind of thing. Then this is the business for you guys, because it is incredible. So we have a training for you this morning, and I have a couple more things just from my notes. Oh, so one thing I want to share really quickly, because Gabby's actually heading up this call and doing the training. First off, this is a place for you guys to grow as leaders. So I don't want this to be always the Gabby show or the Yin show. We expect to bring up leaders. And so just know that. And then that will be by, for me, I get recognized in things in Arbonne, and I get to do things in Arbonne by my activities and by what I'm doing. And so when you're doing something that you see results from and things are growing, then definitely reach out. If there's something you want to share on, definitely reach out so we can chat about that. But I want this to be a place where we bring up leaders. And then I just want to cast a vision for you guys for where we're going. So all this time in Arbonne, I've been in Arbonne 14 years. I never saw myself as a national vice president, like up until probably, I don't know, Gabby, 6 months ago, I'd say 8 months ago. I know you and I started kind of talking about it more, but I never really saw it. It was one of those things where people would say, just make that decision, just you make a decision and then, whatever. And all of a sudden I realized, hey, Stephanie, how are you? So glad you're on. Welcome. Okay. And one quick thing too, I want to do is I want to make sure everybody gets to each other, and we won't be able to do this forever because our squares on our TV or whatever, the screen, are going to be way too many. But while we're small here in just, our call today, one day I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most incredible vehicle I have ever run across. Like, I can't believe that I have this at my fingertips, that I can do this. And so, but what I wanted to share with you guys is a vision for our team. And then we're going to hop on a training. We're going to train with Gabby this morning about consistency. So finally, one day, I guess I had read enough and I had done enough and I had put enough into my brain that I woke up one day, maybe about 6 or 7 or 8 months ago, and I thought, I am going to be a national vice president in Arbonne. I know it. Why do I know it? I know it because of what I've been told in Arbonne. I know it because I've been working consistently. I know it because I have good people on my team. I know it because I just knew. I was like, I know it. So now it's up to me to just declare, like, when do I want to go? And that can be a little scary sometimes because, it's like, oh, well, what if I don't make it? Oh, because immediately that whole Dan doubt sets in and you think, what if? But you can't think like that. You can't think like that in life. We've all heard stories of people that put things out there and people thought they were crazy, but they did it anyway, because it's amazing what happens when everything kind of works together, your mindset and your action behind that mindset. So I declared, we will be a nation by GTC. And every single day I'm waking up now, because I heard Debbie Neal say it, I'm waking up going, good morning, Polly Brothers, National Vice President with Arbonne, Executive National Vice President with Arbonne. And so I want to challenge you guys to think about where you want to be, at least by GTC, which is April. And so I want to walk the stage, so I have to be there by March 31st. And so I want to challenge you to think about that and wake up every day and say that to yourself. Good morning, Michelle Robles, whatever you want to be by then. Good morning, because it doesn't matter where you are today. That doesn't matter. You can make a decision today, and then you're going to follow up with what Gabby's going to train on, which is consistent activity. So I'm going to turn it over to Gabby, and then we'll wrap it up in a few minutes because she's got a great training for you guys on consistency. And sorry for the little bit of, before that, really quickly, can we go through, this is like Hollywood Squares, and Caitlin, you can start and tell everybody kind of where you're from and how long maybe you've been in Arbonne, whatever you want to say real quick, because I want people to know each other on our team.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Caitlin. I'm actually Polly's niece, and I started just a couple months ago. I've always heard about it for years through her, but she finally reeled me in, and I decided to start just a couple months ago. So.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank
Michelle,
you.
You want to go?
Hey, I'm Michelle Robles. I'm from Birmingham. I've been with Arbonne for 6 years, and I was introduced from a old friend at a skincare show.
Awesome. Okay, who's next? Jump in.
I'll go. I'm Amber. I'm from Birmingham, and I've been in Arbonne for 16 months, and I was introduced through Taylor.
Okay. Stephanie?
I'm Stephanie, and I live in Huntsville. And I was introduced to Arbonne through my sister, Susan. And I guess I've been since June, middle of June.
Yeah. Awesome. Yen, where are you? We kind of see you, kind of don't.
Hey. Again, I'm in Los Angeles, but I was introduced to Arbonne at Swanee when I went to college through Gabby. And hey, my roommate just was over. And how long? Well, I've had an ID for going on 4 years now. So like February will be 4 full years. But I've had a business since October, so about a year now.
That's
last
awesome.
year. Yeah, not this October.
Awesome. Okay, who's next? Taylor?
I'm Taylor. Hi. Sorry for the lovely
You
look this morning. I am
turn
kind of
around.
like Yin. I've had an ID since, 2015, 2016, 2016, I think. Wait,
I don't know. I can't remember.
I'm really not sure. 2015 or 2016, but like Yin said, I've had an actual business, I'd say, since January.
Awesome.
And I was introduced by
Everybody,
Polly.
I'm
Sorry.
Jessica. I'm from New York. Well, I'm not from New York, but I'm living in New York. So I've been in Arbonne like 10 or 11 months. So
Awesome. Thanks, Jess.
I'm Ashley, and I have my video turned off because it's not working. But I've been with Arbonne for maybe a week, Gabby, like maybe a week and a day. So one of my best friends is actually friends with Gabby, and that's kind of how I got connected. So I'm excited.
Yay. Thank you for hopping on, Ashley. Your A on your screen looks lovely.
Thank you. It looks better than I do right now, so that's good.
It's okay. And I finally got my lighting right. Okay, well, let's jump into the training, Gabby. And we do apologize that we run a couple minutes over today, but we will try to keep these calls really concise. So take it away, Gabby.
So
introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Gabby. And I was actually introduced to Arbonne. It'll be my 5-year anniversary in April at GTC, which is crazy. So we're going to go hard this year at GTC. But kind of like Yin said, I have been in Arbonne for 4.5 years. However, I just started really taking my business seriously about a year ago. So, and then I was introduced to Arbonne through a coworker. She started her Arbonne business. And this is why you always want to work deep in your success line and in your business, because she quit and
she's coming back.
Sorry, y'all. Can y'all hear me okay?
That's okay. We didn't, and you were frozen anyway, so maybe you're coming back now and won't be frozen.
Yay. Sorry, I'm in the mountains, so it's like kind of spotty. Am I good though?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Now we've got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a note is always to work with everybody on your team, because you never know who's going to quit. So my sponsor actually quit, and thanks to Polly, I'm still around today. So I'm going to talk a little bit about consistency. And I just finished this book called The Slight Edge, which, by the way, if you haven't read that book was recommended to me years ago, and it's been sitting on a shelf, and I finally picked it up a couple weeks ago. I knocked it out in a week, by the way, because it was incredible. So I definitely suggest reading that book ASAP. It's incredible. But he talks about the simple disciplines, and when you do them over a long period of time, you see massive results. And so this can swing positive or negative. And he has this chart where for a long time, it looks like you're no different from everybody else, right? So you're going on this path, and you and your friends are all kind of on the same path. And then all of a sudden you start to see a split. And I personally feel like I'm just starting to see that now with friends, family members, and whatever, because for the longest time you're in your comfort zone and you're just trucking around through life. But when you're doing those little consistent things, it doesn't feel like much. And so maybe it's in terms of fitness, maybe you're doing 10 push-ups a day. That doesn't really feel like much, but if you do that for a year, you're going to be jacked. So it's the same thing with your Arbonne business. If you just keep doing this consistently, just tiny, tiny little pieces of arbonne every day, every little thing, income producing activity that you do is going to add to that. And you're going to see that split, because the successful people are the 5% that go upwards on that graph. And then the rest are the 95%. And I actually have this little, in case you want to take a screenshot, I'm going to share my screen real quick. This is the chart that he talks about. Can y'all see that?
Not yet, because your screen is frozen. Wait, there you go. Okay, try that again, because yeah, now you're not frozen.
Okay.
I don't see her at all.
Oh, you don't see Gabby?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
I hear her, but I don't see her.
I see her now.
Okay.
Okay, now she's screen sharing. Can you guys see that?
It's still working.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Don't be sorry, girl. Living that life.
There you go. Yes.
Here it
There you
is. Yes.
Okay, cool. So I love this because, as you can see, the first little bit, you're kind of on the same path, and then there's a giant split. And this is why some people are super successful, and then some people stay where they are or go down. So think about this in terms of your arbonne business, and let this be your philosophy and your way of life. In arbonne, our slight edge is the things that we do every single day. And it's tiny. It can be 20 minutes. It can be 30 minutes. But what I'm talking about is our daily do's. So in case you haven't printed this already, go ahead and print your monthly tracker. And we have these daily breakouts of what you should be doing on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to talk mainly about a couple of key things on here that you have to be doing every day. And this is going to be one of your call to actions. So let me unscreen share. Hopefully that doesn't mess us up. Okay, so the first thing before I dive in is I'm going to break this down and talk about how it can be super simple and in a tiny little chunk of time, but you have to be organized if you want to fit this into 30 minutes a day. And in terms of being organized, you have to have your 100-person list like ready to go before you start your 30 minutes. So for example, my 100-person list is obviously way longer than 100 people now because I'm constantly adding to it. And then I mark people off as I ask them. So I like visual stuff. So I grab a Sharpie or a colored pen or paper or highlighter, and I mark them off as I ask them. So that's the first thing, is be organized, have your 100-person list ready to go. The second thing is that you don't want to spend too much time thinking about who you're going to reach out to. So that list will help you. And you can find this, by the way, on our team website. If you go to Getting Organized, it's the second tab under Team Resources. That's where you can find your monthly tracker, your 100-person list, all of those things that you're going to need. And then when you ask people, so you're going to fill their names in. And again, I use like a little Sharpie or like a highlighter to highlight people that respond so that I can know who I need to follow up with. So really quick, I'm going to break down how you can do this into 30 minutes. So grab a paper and pen if you don't have that already. So the first 10 minutes, you're going to set a timer either on your phone or your laptop or an old-fashioned timer. You're going to set it for 10 minutes. And in those first 10 minutes, and y'all, I've been doing this week, and it has helped me be super focused and tunnel vision, because before I would kind of like do this in and out of my day, but I like having structure. So if you're like,
I said you got knickers off. You got knocked off.
all right, we're back.
Gabby. Yeah, okay. There you go. Great.
Okay, so I promise I'm almost done. Okay, so you're going to set that timer for 10 minutes. And then those first 10 minutes, that's when you're going to do your new asks and your follow-ups from new asks. And then your timer is going to go off. And by the way, you're using your 100-person list, and then you're looking back to see who you've already asked and who you need to follow up with. So you don't need to spend a lot of time thinking about who you're going to talk to. The second 10 minutes, you're going to set your timer again. That's when you're going to do your follow-ups to your clients. So 30-day people, making sure people have their orders arriving okay, all that good stuff. And also your team reach outs. And if you don't have a team yet, then go ahead and spend those 5 minutes on new reach outs. So you just want to be adding as many people as possible into your funnel. And then the last 10 minutes are networking and social media. So networking, you can go onto Facebook groups, you can do this on Instagram, but following up with people, starting conversations with people, there are zillions of Facebook groups, so find one in your area or with a group of people that you relate to and start commenting on there, and asking people for recommendations, or if someone's asking for a good doctor in the area, give them your referrals, but build relationships. So use that last 10 minutes to build relationships, and you can post on your social media as well. I want to highlight though for social media that unless you are asking over direct message, it is not income producing activity. So a lot of times people will spend so much time on social media, but they're not seeing any results, and that's because they're just posting. So you cannot expect to just post and have someone come to you. You have to reach out to people. And so you can swipe up and see who's watching your story and reach out then. But with social media, it is important to be posting because you want to be dripping on people. However, don't spend a lot of time creating new content. We have so much content made for you. So if you're busy and you do not have a lot of time, I don't want you to spend those 30 minutes creating content for social media. I want you to use what we have on our Facebook group. Ask your sponsor to, let you show you where that is on our Facebook group. It's just in the photos side. But that will help you a ton, and it'll help you leverage your time as well, especially if you're busy. So go ahead and write in your asks. And then when you share Arbonne with somebody, you want to add them to your master list and walk them through the multiple exposures over a short period of time. So I do my master list on an Excel sheet. You can also do this on paper. And again, you can get with your sponsor if you're not sure what I'm talking about. So to wrap us up, I just want to start by saying implement the slight edge in your life today, because it will be a game changer for you, and focus on income producing activity. So like I said with social media, don't worry so much about organizing and making things look pretty. You want to focus on things that are going to bring you an income and let you make an impact. So this is not a dress rehearsal. This is your real life, and you only get one chance to do it. So why would you not play full out? And I want you to think about this. So in 100 years, when you have to leave this world, you want to leave here knowing that you made an impact, and knowing that your yes to Arbonne and your consistent efforts had a ripple effect on the world across hundreds and thousands of people. And deep down, I know this can sound scary, and you're like, me, I can have that impact on people, but you can, because we were all made to do more. So we were made for big things, and the biggest waves in the world start with the tiniest gust of winds, which lead to a ripple, which leads to a tsunami wave. So think of your daily dues like your gust of wind. This is your ripple effect, and you're going to create a giant wave of momentum in your business if you do this every single day consistently. So call to action is, by the time we get on here next week, I want you to have filled out, go ahead and print out your monthly tracker if you haven't already, and fill out your list this week if you're doing your daily asks. Set the timer, and I want you to bring this to the table next week and let us know how it goes, and how it helps you in terms of focusing your energy on those 30 minutes a day. So that's all I have.
Awesome.
Polly, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, definitely. So first off, thank you, Gabby. That was an excellent training. What did you guys think? Just 30 minutes a day for your business? We can all do that. We can all find it. And even if you have to break it up into 10, 10, 10, you could definitely do that. So if you're at a full-time job, we understand. Take a 10-minute break. People that smoke, go take smoke breaks. Hopefully we don't smoke because we're in health and wellness, but go take a break. But one thing I wanted to share is, if you're like me and you get a little bit overwhelmed, oh, yay, Amber, thank you. And go do your thing, Amber. We know you've got to go. But if you're like me and you get a little bit overwhelmed visually, we are going to change that daily tracker to have a little bit less on it, because I feel like if it's overwhelming visually and you're just like, and then you just stop and you don't do anything, then it's like Andrea always says, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I don't know if you guys know that saying. There's actually a long story related to that saying that I won't tell you today. So, the most important things are what Gabby pointed out this morning. So just doing your new ask, and everybody knows what that is. And if you need help with those, that's what we're here for, to just give you the verbiage and how to reach out and ask people to just take a look at Arbonne. And you guys, that's all I do. I'm not kidding. Like, my day is, hey, I'd love to share what I do with you, or hey, gosh, I've noticed, or whatever, just whatever, however. And even like eventually, I know this might sound scary, like Gabby said, but eventually you'll learn. Like, I have some people right now that I'm talking to that I met on a plane, and one girl that I met at the nail salon. And I mean, like, an awesome. I want to share with you to finish up that there is a story about 3 feet from gold. So I know Gabby just shared something with you, and we give you a lot to read, but there is this little story called 3 Feet from Gold. And it's about a guy who bought this land. You know, he was digging for gold, or had the land, and he dug and he dug and he dug, or whatever you do for gold, right? Mined, and never found it, right? He was just, but I mean, he was sure there was gold there, but he was finally just like, you know what, I'm done. I've just worked so hard and I just don't see the results of my work. And so he sold it. And the guy that he sold it to was like, I know there's gold here, and went out and like got some help and got some excavating tools and got some other people to help him figure out where it was. So there's like a story in that right there, in terms of being coachable and following the system and listening to other people who've gone before you, right? And so he went and got land, was 3 feet away from hitting that same strain of gold. And so the saying in Arbonne is, don't quit before you hit that, you know, don't quit before the miracle happens, because you could be 3 feet from gold. Lastly, about being consistent, even if you haven't been in your business, it's never too late to start being consistent. So even if you feel like, I haven't been, and this is the kind of business where you really can't kind of stop and start and expect to see results. But as long as you don't quit, there's always that opportunity to start being consistent. So I want to really encourage you guys all to take the opportunity to just start being consistent. And we're here to help. And I want all of us on this call at the top with me. I want all of you guys on the stage with me next year. Anybody that wants it, I want you to be walking that stage. Okay. So I know some of you definitely want that. And even if you don't, we're here to support you regardless. If you just want a few extra $100 a month, that's awesome. And we want you to be happy with whatever you're doing with Arbonne. We want this to be a place of positive vibes only. So yay. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of leave you guys with that. You've got your call to action. Definitely, if you haven't read The Slight Edge, one of the best books I've ever read on network marketing. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And Gabby, thank you so much for that. And we are going to have some guest trainers on as well, you guys. So be looking for that maybe about once a month. We've all got lots of sideline sister friends in Arbonne that are awesome. So we've got some people already in the works that we're talking to be a little guest trainer for us. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed our first ever region, almost nation call. And thank you so much for hopping on, you guys. Yay. And next time you'll bring a team member with you, right, to the call.
Yes. Thank you, Polly.
Thanks, everybody. What?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Saturday. Bye.
Thanks, guys.